This is not the common Silver Jubilee stamp of King George V. On a postcard painting called The Heart of the Empire by artist Frank O. Salisbury, depicting the king standing before the altar of St. Paul's Cathedral, accompanied by the royal family during the service of Thanksgiving on May 6, 1935, where the king later made an appearance on the balcony of Buckingham Palace to cheer the waiting crowd. This stamp is one of the most iconic error postage stamps of Great Britain, known as the Prussian Blue. At first glance, you may not notice the difference, but it becomes apparent that the middle overlaid stamp exhibits a subtle turquoise shade compared to the ultramarine ones in the background. This information is provided by StampsV. How did this happen? Well, the printer Harrison & Sons mistakenly, or perhaps some employees intentionally, printed some sheets in the Prussian blue color, which was among the colors presented to the king for his selection. His Majesty preferred the ultramarine, referring to the Royal Navy color. Thus, the printer's management discovered the error and ordered the sheets to be destroyed. However, 3 sheets somehow surfaced at the post office in Edmonton, north of London. This error was discovered by a stamp collector, Mr. Stavridi. He sent his secretary to purchase some stamps, and upon inspecting them, he noticed that they differed in color. He promptly visited the post office and acquired 319 stamps, effectively the remaining balance, as the post office had already sold 41 of them. A few days later, Mr. Stavridi reached out to Stanley Gibbons, one of the biggest stamp dealers and publishers. However, Gibbons purchased the stamps in early July, while it was not until mid-September that they were officially announced the acquisition, while they declared that the Prussian blue stamps were color errors and had unintentionally entered the general stock and were delivered to Edmonton's post office in the official way. To a certain extent, we find it unconvincing that this was solely a human error and not a security breach. This suspicion arises primarily from the fact that these 3 error sheets were not separated into 2 of 60s, as evidenced by the control W35 and cylinder 34, just as it was done for the 14,200,000 stamps produced in the standard ultramarine color and delivered in sheets of 60, not 120 stamps. In any case, we are presented with a philatelic rarity where its value can reach an average of $10,000. We strongly recommend acquiring the Prussian Blue stamp from a reliable dealer, with a certification issued by a reputable institution, as there are many counterfeits where the normal color is altered to look like the rare Prussian Blue. And finally, be aware of fakes and remember that the first fake was made when the first collector was born.